about that for real. Like, Trump not doing enough.
I realized how irrelevant Trump was in this time period. Don't mind that.
Like seriously. Hold on. These Democrats, my phone blowing up. Thomas Jefferson did, huh? Hold on. Good evening, Phoenix family. We have some breaking news out of Washington, D.C. President Thomas Jefferson has just announced a massive land deal with France, and it's being called the Louisiana Purchase. For just $15 million, the United States has bought over 800,000 square miles of land, stretching from the Mississippi River all the way to the Rocky Mountains. That means our country has just doubled its size overnight. Sources say France's leader Napoleon Bonaparte agreed to this sale because he needed money for his wars in Europe. President Jefferson wasn't even sure the Constitution allowed him to buy land, but he decided to go through with it anyway. This purchase is a big win for farmers and traders because it gives America full control of the Mississippi River, a key route to shopping goods. Explorers are already preparing to head west to map out this huge new territory. Critics say Jefferson may have taken a risk, but supporters are calling this one of his smartest moves in American history. Stay tuned for updates as we follow how this land shapes the future of the United States. That's all for Phoenix News at Night. Turning it back over to Eric with more information coming after this.
Good morning, I'm your host for today, Eric Jenkins, and I'll be talking about the Oregon Trail. First, missionary Narcissa Whitman has just become the first white woman to complete the overland journey west. According to primary sources, the Oregon Trail is a route by people who travel to Oregon country, which is what Oregon is called now before it became a state. The journey is dangerous with challenges like treacherous rain, disease, and extreme weather. Though settlers are facing hardship to claim the under the original Nation Land Act to fulfill the nation belief of the manifest destiny.
Good evening, America. This is Master Howard reporting live from the Burgundy Bandit podcast, and breaking reports from the Western Frontier are changing the future for our young nation. From the discovery of gold in California to the settlement of Texas, the United States is expanding at a dramatic pace. Let's go live to our reporters on scene. Thank you, Madison. I'm here in Coloma, California, where James W. Marshall just discovered gold at Sutter's Mill. The news has spread like wildfire, and thousands of people are flooding into the area, desperate to strike it rich. 300,000 hopeful miners, only the 49ers, has arrived from the United States from all over the world, including the countries China, Chile, and Australia. Okay, now let's hear from one of the witnesses who left their family from down east to try to strike rich. Thank you. I left my family from down east hoping to strike a fortune, and it's so unfortunate. Some men dig for weeks and find nothing, and some men dig for like 10 minutes and find something with a whole month of mortgage. It's a dangerous game out here, but the hope of gold keeps us all going. Thank you. That was so inspirational. Anyways, boom towns like San Francisco are growing almost overnight, transforming some small villages into booming cities. But along with opportunities come hardship. Miners face backbreaking labor, violence, disease, and discrimination, especially against immigrants. Still, this gold rush has brought so many people here that California has already been admitted as a state. Back to you at the desk. Thank you to all who have spoken.
The BBB, Brady broadcast, and today we'll be talking about Trail of Tears happening live right now.
Said the United States of America where forced removal of Native Americans is unfunded before our eyes, with officials are calling it Indian removal. Behind the scenes, overwhelming thousands of Native American men, women, and children are being forced from their ancestral homelands under the watch of U.S. soldiers, many are only carrying what they can hold in their hand. This march will stretch over 1,000 miles toward designated Indian territory, and present-day Oklahoma is already proving to be devastating. Entire families are being driven away from their homelands where their ancestors have lived for generations. Officials claim that this move is for expansion and settlement opportunities for white settlers, but for Native people, it's nothing short of exile. On this trail, the Cherokee, Creek, Choctaw, Chickasaw, Seminole Nations. The removal is brutal. Families were given little to no time to prepare. Many were forced out of their homes with no food, clothing, or proper transportation. As winter approaches, the lack of supplies will almost certainly lead to suffering, illness, and death. I can see the wagon overload with people who are too weak to walk, but most are on foot. Small children cling to their parents, many barefoot shivering. The elderly struggle to keep pace, some collection along the roadsides. Soldiers continue to push the march forward with little regard for lives along the way. Reporters are already coming in of widespread disease, hunger, and exhaustion. Witnesses describe this journey as a death march. The cries of families mourning loved ones left behind on the roadside echo across the trail. Estimates suggest thousands may not survive this forced migration. As we continue to follow this story, one thing is certain: the moment will go down as one of the darkest in American history. From the southern homelands of the Cherokee and other tribes, this is OJ with the Burgundy Bandit broadcast, signing off. Let's take it over to Eric.
And we're back. And we just received confirmation that President John Lewis got a splendid piece of foreign diplomacy through the U.S. Senate, the purchase of the Louisiana Territory from France. According to History News, the Louisiana purchase was just made, so Jefferson initiated an exploration of the newly purchased land and the territory beyond the Great Rock Mountains. And, in other words, Jefferson just chose Meriwether Lewis to guide the lands and that stuff. So then Meriwether Lewis just chose William Clark as his leader in mission, his co-leader in mission. Thank you for listening. This is your reporter, Eric Jenkins, signing out. Good night.
This is OJ with the Burgundy Bandit broadcast news reporting live. The western extension of America continues at its fastest pace because of the powerful concept known as manifest destiny, which stands at our current location. The belief of manifest destiny unites settlers with politicians and religions who believe America received divine orders to expand from Atlantic to the Pacific. The nation's destiny, according to many locations, presents both optimistic and challenging circumstances to people who live there. People from different families prepare their belongings and supplies before embracing on extended journeys into the unknown. The western migration of complete community people extends beyond expansion because it represents a sacred national purpose which will determine the country's future. This continues because people seek both agricultural land and thriving commercial opportunities, and the chance to establish new beginnings. The construction of railroads advances at record speed to create new routes through the plans, while new towns emerge rapidly to welcome settlers who want to claim their land. The narrative of manifest destiny prevents both successful growth and intense battles between different groups. Native American tribes who have inhabited these territories for centuries face forced relocation from their ancestral land. The United States government had failed to uphold its treaties through broken promises and deliberate disregard of these agreements. The rising violence between settlers and native tribe and neighborhood nations produces widespread frontier uncertainty and tension. The westward expansion of America results in catastrophic human losses, which criticizes insists must receive proper acknowledgement. The expansion shows no sign of slowing down. The federal government supports settlement through land distribution and statehood. Expansion effort. Political leaders support expansion because they believe it will boost national economic power while securing borders and carrying out what they consider America's divine obligation. The dream of a nation spanning from coast to coast has evolved from an unattainable dream into actual reality for numerous settlers. The current event demonstrates that this period will mark a crucial moment in American historical development. The American frontier serves as a location where property and displacement and contentional unity meets in a single history moment. I'm Noah Jake reporting for the Burgundy Bandit broadcast as Manifest Destiny transforms our nation through the expansion of 1 mile at a time and the growth of one talent and the development of one family. This is Noah Jake signing off for taking it over to Juliet.
Welcome back to your Burgundy Bandit broadcast. I am your talker for tonight, Jayla Hoskin. Wait, I'm getting intel. Turning you over to Tom. We're on Mexico. Following the father crash along the Rio Grande River. The confrontation began when the Mexican troops attacked a group of U.S. soldiers. Tom, are you there? Static. Script. Okay. In a shocking turn of events, the United States has officially declared war on Mexico following a violent clash around the Rio Grande River. The confrontation began when Mexican troops attacked a group of U.S. soldiers in a disputed territory, sparking a chain of reactions that has now escalated into a full-blown conflict. President James K. Polk addressed the nation just moments ago, confirming that American forces are now mobilizing for what appears to be a major military engagement with Mexico. Mexico has shed American blood on American soil, Polk said in his speech. We have no choice but to defend our citizens and our territory. The incident that triggered the declaration of the war occurred earlier this week when U.S. soldiers were reportedly patrolling near the Rio Grande, an area both nations claim as their own. According to reports, a fight broke out after the Mexican forces fired on the American troops, killing several soldiers. In response, Polk immediately called for Congress to approve the declaration of war, which was quickly passed on in an emergency session. This act of aggression cannot go unanswered, Polk declared. We will fight to protect our land and our people. The conflict is centered around the ongoing dispute over territory. Over Texas. The conflict is centered around the ongoing dispute over Texas, which declared its independence from Mexico nearly a decade ago. The conflict is centered around the ongoing dispute over Texas, which declared its independence from Mexico nearly decades ago. Mexico still considers Texas a part of its territory, and the U.S. has been eager to annex it, despite Mexico's objections. Mexico's government is furious over the U.S. move, with President Moreno Paredes Marino Aurelga condemning the American Declaration as an unjustified act of war. Mexico will defend its honor and its borders with everything we have, he vowed in a public statement moments ago. As the U.S. military prepares to deploy troops to the front lines, there are reports of widespread public support of war in America. Volunteers are already signing up to fight, many rallying around the idea of the expanding U.S. territory, but there are also growing concerns about the potential of a prolonged and costly war. This is the developing story, and more updates will follow as more information comes in. Well, hello there. Today, it's February 2nd, 1848. 2 years since you've seen me. I have some news for you, coming from the Burgundy Bandit podcast. The United States and Mexico officially signed the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, ending the Mexican-American War. This is a huge deal because America just gained a massive amount of land. We're talking about what is now California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and even parts of Wyoming. That's like the third of the country we once had. In exchange, the U.S. agreed to pay Mexico $15 million and promised to respect the rights of Mexican citizens now living on American territory. But people are already wondering if the U.S. will actually keep that promise. This treaty doesn't just expand the map. It also brings up the heated question of whether slavery will spread into these new territories. Some people are excited about Manifest Destiny and say it's America's destiny to spread across the continent, while others are worried that this will lead to more fights between the North and the South. For now, though, the war is over, and the U.S. just got a huge upgrade on the territorial scale. This was your Burgundy Bandit broadcast. I was your host, Tommy Clement.
It's all like no been in and out of prison for a while like no grew up in the ghetto, dug in the game, they did their best to work as a real.
Okay, now we'll turn to our reporter in Texas, where another story of expansion is unfolding. Thank you, Madison. I am reporting live from Texas, where settlers from the United States began moving into Mexico territory, led by Stephen F. Austin. American families were granted land to fund and build community, but tension grew quickly over slavery and religion. Conflict exploded into Texas Revolution. Now, let's hear the point of view of a Texas soldier. Thank you. We fought hard at the Battle of the Alamo and thought many lives were lost. The remembrance of Alamo. Keep our spirits alive. Just a few more months later, we won a victory at the Battle of Jacinto, and Texas declared independence. Indeed, Texas became the Republic of Texas, a proud independent nation for nearly a decade. The United States annexed Texas, officially a part of the Union. This is considered anger in Mexico, and it's already stirring up tension that could lead to a war. But that is all for Mexico. Back to you, Madison. Thank you for every one of my amazing broadcasters and people who volunteered to speak. Well, that's all for now. This is Madison with your BBBs. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Stay tuned for all of your local news. The BBBs out.